You know, most online success stories we hear start with some big passion or lifelong dream. Well, this isn't one of them. Today, we're going to break down the story of Aaron Bukai, a guy who built a six-figure business and a life of travel, not because he wanted to, but because he absolutely had to. It's a story that literally starts from the bottom.
All right, let's just start with a massive dose of reality, shall we? Aaron really doesn't pull any punches with this quote. I mean, it's a direct shot at that whole get-rich-quick fantasy we see plastered all over the internet, and it perfectly sets the stage for the real, no-fluff approach that actually worked for him.
So, what kicked this whole thing off? It wasn't some flash of inspiration in the middle of the night. It was pure desperation. This wasn't about him finding his calling. It was about finding a way, anyway, to make money when every single traditional door had been slammed in his face. I mean, just look at this. This is his starting line at age 30. No high school certificate, no real job qualifications. He's on unemployment, and get this, he's using the free Wi-Fi at McDonald's just to try and figure something out. The motivation here wasn't some grand vision of the future. It was just survival. He literally had no other choice. And this right here is the heart of his origin story. You know, he wasn't trying to escape some 9-to-5 job that he hated. He was actually trying desperately to get a job, and he just couldn't. The corporate world looked at his resume and saw absolutely nothing. So he was pretty much forced to create his own path. Not because he wanted to, but because he had to. But just as he was starting to get a little bit of traction, disaster struck. And we're not talking about a small little stumble here. This was a catastrophic failure that honestly could have, and probably should have, ended his entire journey before it even really started. So he'd found this thing called high-ticket affiliate marketing. Basically, you sell other people's expensive products for a big commission. And it was actually starting to work. He even borrowed a ton of money to invest in their big mastermind program. And then, poof, the Federal Trade Commission shut the entire company down, calling it pyramid-ish, and everything just vanished. Overnight. So he wasn't back at zero. No, it was way, way worse than that. He was left with $55,000 of debt. All that money he'd borrowed and invested was now just a massive hole in his life. I mean, a number like that crushes people. But this is where the story completely flips. Instead of just giving up, he got to work. He started offering simple freelance services, building websites, setting up sales funnels for other small businesses. Just good, honest work. In just 4 months, he was making enough to buy himself a proper laptop and a real desk setup. And then, amazingly, in just 9 months, that entire $55,000 debt was gone, paid off. So how in the world did he do that? This brings us to the core lesson of this entire story. It's what Aaron calls the unsexy answer. It's the real, foundational work that, let's be honest, everybody wants to skip. But it's the part that's absolutely essential if you want to build something that lasts. Here it is, the big secret. Forget digital products. Forget those dreams of passive income. Forget trying to automate everything right at the beginning. It's all useless if you don't have a skill that people are actually willing to pay for. The first and most important step is to just get good at something and sell that skill as a service.
So this is what it looked like in the real world. His strategy was actually a super simple 3-part system. First, he would just hang out in Facebook groups and offer free advice about software, making himself the go-to expert. Second, when people took his advice and signed up for a tool he recommended, boom, he'd get a little affiliate commission. And then third, he'd upsell them his done-for-you services to actually build the whole thing for them. Simple, direct, and it worked like a charm.
Okay, so that service model got him out of that massive debt and let him build up some savings. But, you know, trading your time for money will only get you so far. To get to real freedom, he knew he had to switch from that model to building a scalable, recurring revenue system. This is where the real strategy kicks in.
He had started this cool little tech support membership to help his clients after their websites were built. Smart, right? But he hit a snag. The software platform he was using had a really, really bad affiliate program, and it was capping his ability to build that stable, passive income he was looking for. So that problem actually forced him to go out and find a better tool.
And this is where his long-term thinking was just brilliant. See, at first glance, you'd think the higher commissions from those more expensive platforms would be better, right? More money! But Aaron realized something critical. A high price tag also meant a high cancellation rate. People would quit. He chose Système IO because it was way more affordable for his clients, which meant they were much more likely to stick around. So even though the commissions were smaller, the income stream was way more stable and reliable over the long haul.
And that was the key. That was the game changer. This one strategic choice, to go for stability instead of chasing high-ticket commissions, is what allowed him to build a truly passive income engine, something he could count on month in and month out. This was the foundation for his real financial freedom. So with that rock-solid income foundation in place, let's take a look at how he was able to scale things up and finally grab that digital nomad lifestyle he'd been working so hard for.
Okay, check this out. This is pretty wild. This first bar represents his entire salary, after tax, from a sales job he had for a short time. Now look at this second bar. That's just his monthly recurring affiliate income from Système.io. It absolutely dwarfs what he used to make working 40 hours a week for someone else.
And he's not just a lone freelancer grinding away anymore. He's a real business owner. He's got a team with 2 full-time tech assistants, a video editor, a part-time assistant. He works with an ad agency. He even has a personal trainer and assistant he flew out to Bali to help him get in shape. He's reinvesting his profits back into the business and into his life.
And the result of all that hard work and all that smart strategy? Total, absolute freedom. He's traveled the world, Brazil, Spain, Portugal, and now he runs his entire operation from his home in Bali. This is that dream that so many people are chasing, but he got there by taking a very grounded, very practical path.
So in the end, in his own words, it all comes back to this one thing. I mean, he's one of the top affiliates in the world for Système.io, and yet he's telling you to forget the tool? Why? Because the tool doesn't matter. It's secondary. The foundation, the one thing that matters more than anything else, is having a skill that you can sell. Everything else is built on top of that.
And that really brings us to the final, most important question, doesn't it? Aaron's journey from a McDonald's Wi-Fi hotspot to a global business wasn't about finding some secret hack or a magic tool. It was about finding one skill and offering it to people who needed help. So what's yours?